Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm Faye Watt, and let's queer up Florida. New owner of OMW Disney Festival comes to Hotspots Happening Out. Moments ago, Al Ferguson, Hotspot Happening Out's Vice President of Community Development, sat down to talk to the new CEO of One Magical Weekend, Ethan Suarez. Yes, you heard me right. There is a new mayor in town in Disney's Gaytown. They talk about the move from the first Saturday in June to May 29th weekend to respect the critical social justice event, Washington, D.C. World Pride. You are going to learn about these changes and all the amazing events of one of the world's largest LGBTQ plus music festival events held in Orlando. Whether Riptide at Disney, the Red Party at House of Blues, or Bear Jamboree, my favorite, May 29th to June 2nd, 2025 will come at an incredible time with the history we are watching all around us.
The first weekend of June at Walt Disney World is Red Shirt Day. This historic recognition event is where, in the 1990s, members of the LGBTQ community gathered the first Saturday in June at Disney's Magic Kingdom. And presto, one of the largest gay gatherings in the world was born. It later became the OMW Festival. You may know it as Gay Days, where more than 100,000 celebrants gather. Well, this year, there are some changes. OMW has made a one-week date change to accommodate the world's LGBTQ celebration of World Pride in Washington, D.C. OMW will return to Orlando May 29th to June 2nd. And that's not all. There seems to be a new gaytown mayor leading One Magical Weekend. And on Hotspots Happening Out's Queer News tonight, you are getting ready to meet him and hear all the latest details of our beloved gay weekend at Disney. So let's welcome Ethan Suarez, the new CEO of OMW. Ethan, welcome. We're really glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Coming down from Orlando. How does it feel to come from one gay mecca to a huge uber gay mecca?
I love it. I used to live down here in Pembroke Pines with my husband about 10 years ago. So I was always in Wilton. I was always in between the two cities, back and forth between Miami and Fort Lauderdale, just living life and enjoying it.
Yeah, it's funny. I went to UCF, and I loved Orlando, but I just couldn't live in Orlando because of all of the traffic. And now I'm in Fort Lauderdale, and it's like
that's the same thing me and my husband say. We're like, "You want to move back here?" And he's like, "No, I don't want to deal with the traffic."
Yeah, the traffic. It's terrible wherever. Well, let's talk about what happened last fall. Last fall, as I said, you became CEO of One Magical Weekend. Why did you want to lead one of the world's most important LGBT music festivals? It's not a natural, oh, check that box.
Yeah, it was, I've been in healthcare for 20 years. My background is in healthcare. I've been in EMS and hospice and in primary care with my other job. But it kind of fell into my lap of, hey, do you want to take this on as a new venture? And we talked with our board of directors and said, well, you know what, let's do it. And be crazy kids and say, let's take this diamond and run with it.
You know, I'm completely enamored with that because I worked in an industry and then as kind of a side hustle at RuPaul's Drag Race, and everybody said to me, drag never did drag, but drag never seemed to be you, and that's what I hear. Your healthcare background, an LGBT music festival doesn't seem like a natural fit until you realize, oh, it's completely a natural fit.
It does. And when something posted on Instagram the other day that about circuit parties and why the circuit party was so important and why these music festivals were so important to our community is because they empowered our young kids to, I wouldn't say radicalize, but more empower them to fight back and fight this oppression that they were receiving in the early 80s and 90s when the height of the AIDS epidemic, that it was that time of a reprieve. You could take a breath from your activism all day and have fun and then get ready to go again the next day.
Yeah, so You were a social justice warrior all day. You partied all night to 6 o'clock in the morning, and then you started again.
Started all over again, yes.
That's right. Your healthcare background, that's also interesting to me. You're the CEO of Pineapple Healthcare in Orlando, and next week you're going to open a new extension in Kissimmee. Pineapple Healthcare is OMW's presenting sponsor, and principally you serve primary for LGBT community. Tell me about what you and what they do.
Yeah, so we believe in friends taking care of friends. So we want to be that one-stop shop in Orlando and Central Florida that you can come get your healthcare taken care of in a predominantly queer space. Orlando is predominantly queer. We have our little bubbles, but it's not like Wilton Manors down here where you're in the gayborhood, as we say. We don't have one in Orlando. So it's nice to come in and not feel judged or stigmatized because you're married but in an open relationship, or you are polyamorous and have 2-3 boyfriends. And we don't care. We just want to take care of you. So we deal with your HIV, your PrEP, whatever you need as a one-stop shop. Come in, get seen by our providers who are all queer or allies and have worked in LGBT health for many years, and be on your way.
Well, to all of our viewers in Central Florida, you've got to check out Pineapple Healthcare, and when you come to OMW in May, you're going to learn all about them. Let's zero in about OMW itself. From the 1990s, the Disney first weekend in June was our worldwide gay calendar signature event. We affectionately called it our circuit. Remember that? Our OMW was a gay circuit party. That's how it started. But we're now in the mid-2020s, and sometimes people go, why do we need to do this? And Ethan, I'm curious, how has OMW changed in these decades since Red Shirt Day at the Magic Kingdom formed? And how has it changed to be relevant and worthwhile and still important in the mid-2020s?
I remember that. Like, I'm wearing my red shirt today, my OMW red shirt, because I wore it when I went into the Magic Kingdom when I just came out, and I remember feeling like a community there, standing in front of the Magic Kingdom in Cinderella's castle with hundreds of other people wearing that are similar like me, when I felt very alone. I went to school in Fort Myers when I came out, and it was very conservative. And I felt very alone, and then getting to go to Walt Disney World, which is, one of the most magical places on the world, but also be surrounded by my community made it even more special. And that is what OMW has felt for me for many years. Prior to being, a sponsor and involved in the production of OMW, I got to be a guest, and I met friends and my community and my tribe that I got to be with. And see these people that I become friends and they become family year after year.
Kind of a reunion.
Yeah, it's a reunion. I get to see people that live in New York, New Jersey, Chicago.
Paris.
Yes, there are people from all over the world that come to Orlando for this weekend. And to be part of this community and this family is so magical that you get to check in on Thursday. I usually always check in on Thursday night to the hotel, so I get to get settled. And then start my Friday waking up in the elevators and going down for breakfast and seeing everyone checking in and just seeing friends again is so wonderful.
As institutional as that first weekend in June is for OMW, along comes this change. Let's talk about your decision to move the event weekend for 2025 a week earlier because of DC World Pride. I imagine after you've just taken over CEO of OMW, I imagine that was a scary decision for you. How has it affected your 2025 plans to start OMW May 29th?
So we surveyed. I'm a business person, so I love numbers and I love data. Been in healthcare for so long, so I do everything off of science and data. So we surveyed our...
So you're not with the Trump administration then?
No, definitely not, right. We surveyed our guests. When we send out after every event, we surveyed our guests and said, hey, what was your experiences like? And then we threw an extra question in there, is would you be attending World Pride in 2025? And 40% of our respondents said yes. So we're like, do we really want to compete with the biggest gay event in the world I mean, our event is a big event, but are you debating going to DC or Orlando?
Trump, Washington, D.C.
Yeah, and this was before this was even before we knew the outcome of the election.
Yeah.
And because we surveyed this after One Magical Weekend in 2024, and 40% of the respondents said this. And so we're like, you know what? Let's move it a weekend ahead and be the official kickoff to World Pride. So you come to Orlando, have your magical weekend, go home, wash all your jock straps and harnesses on Tuesday, and then Thursday fly out to DC.
Yeah. And I personally appreciate it because I'm going to go to OMW, then I'm going to get on a plane and go to World Pride. And
I'm doing the same thing.
A huge number of people will come to that same conclusion. For those few of you that do not, have never been to OMW, don't know what we're talking about, let me try to quantify it for you. Ethan's note about statistics. I do the same thing in journalism. There is no doubt of the impact of OMW. We looked up some of the facts about One Magical Weekend. OMW has played an astounding 755,000 songs in its history. Let that wash over you for a moment. OMW has participated in 34 Pride festivals. OMW has been involved in 280 LGBT events all over the world. And the most staggering number, more than 1 million people have attended this LGBTQ event. Amazing. It's just amazing. Why do you think OMW has become so important to our community?
Because it is a sense of family and community. When you check in, we buy out the whole hotel at the Sheraton Lake Buena Vista, and we also have the Bear Jamboree at the Crown Plaza right across the street. We have the entire hotel are ours. I own that hotel that entire weekend. There are no families running around. There are no kids running around. You can be your true, authentic self. If you want to come down in a kilt and heels and a harness, go for it. No one's going to judge you. It is one place that you get to be yourself without fear of judgment. I'm
curious with the importance of the value of being authentic and your authentic self and the things going on in the world, and World Pride comes along. Were you ever scared over the last 6 months? Have you ever thought, oh my gosh, what have I done?
There's been that time, that weekend after I signed the contract with the previous owners, and I was like, what the hell did I do? Mm-hmm. I'm now in the entertainment business, in the hospitality business. I was scared. Even when I opened my first company, it's that leap of faith. And I let that fear fuel me and keep me pushing it to be a better experience every year for my guests. Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to give a few more statistics before we wrap up the interview, and it sounds like you don't have to be too scared. Let's talk about the major events that are going to happen this year at OMW. First off, you mentioned it already, the Sheraton Lake Buena Vista. If you haven't stayed at the hotel, beautiful, not too small, not too big. You don't get swallowed up, you don't get lost. Tell us a little bit about the Sheraton Lake Buena Vista.
Sure, the Sheraton Lake Buena Vista is a unique design of its hotel. It has a circular buildings that encompass the pool. So the pool's on the interior of the building. So you get to look out. If you wanted a pool view room, you can have that where you look out your window into the pool area, which is wonderfully decorated every year and changes decoration every day for the whole weekend. Or you can be a little quieter and have the city view room. But you get to come right downstairs, party where you play, or stay where you play. And you walk right down to the pool. The after hours are in the hotel ballrooms. Our first party on Thursday will be also hosted at the Sheraton, and our final party on Sunday will also be hosted at the Sheraton.
Yeah. You launched that. The Thursday party will be May 29th. It's called #TBT. It's the kickoff party. It's one of the parties that I really appreciate. Having gone to UCF, been to the Parliament House 10,000 times, it has a real Orlando feel to it. You've continued that.
Yes, we want to host and highlight our local Orlando talent because we do understand there are people coming in from all over the world. So let's welcome them home and show them as
and who are some participating?
It's going to be hosted by Angelica Sanchez this year. She's our hostess. And I know London Adore from down here from South Florida is already on cast. And I've loved being surprised because I enjoy One Magical Weekend so much that I kind of tell my staff that, like, here, run with it. Here's my idea for the party. let me be surprised that day of and see who's on staff and like see their performances.
It's a reunion event for me. Catching up with Darcel Stevens.
Yes.
It's a reunion. Friday, of course, is probably, if I was going to argue, I'm gonna really totally piss off a lot of people here in South Florida. If I was going to argue the best party in Florida in the course of the year, it happens Friday night at OMW, and that's Riptide at Typhoon Lagoon at Disney. You're continuing it. It borders on iconic.
It is iconic. It is the largest pool party, I would argue, anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
I have 6,000 of our friends together, and we take over Disney's Typhoon Lagoon.
The park closes. Just pause there. 6,000 LGBT fans in a water park at a nighttime party.
Yeah.
It's just mind-blowing.
The park closes at 5 to kick out all the straights, and then we transform it in 2 hours, and then open up at 7 o'clock. And this year will be DJ Kitty Glitter from Australia headlining.
Amazing.
She will be spinning from tonight with the opening set by Chris Sudgen, one of our Orlando locals. And it is amazing. You get to be in the wave pool, having fun with your friends, dancing on the beach to Kitty Glitter, or just
in the sand.
Yeah, in the sand, right there, or just chilling on the lazy river, meeting new friends.
Yeah. And one of the things I really love about Riptide is sometimes there can be this conflict between those that are real hardcore circuit dancers and the bear community, for example. The bears have a space, and everyone seems to get along and say, no, everyone seems to be welcome. There's
the Bear Lagoon that we have that DJ Brianna Lee will be spinning at. They have their own separate area.
From Parliament House, iconic DJ from the Parliament House.
From the Parliament House. There's their own area, but it doesn't, I believe in the community coming together and saying that, if you're a bear, you're a little muscle boy, you can all be dancing together and have fun.
Yeah, to the South Florida community. If you've never been to OMW and you don't have much time, you don't want to spend much time, the one thing you must do is to go to Riptide at Disney's Typhoon Lagoon, Friday night of OMW weekend. It is a not to be missed experience. Then you repeat the next night. On Saturday, we go to the former inclination of Downtown Disney and go to House of Blues and the Red Party. I think this is like the 8th version of Red Party. Tell us about what you do there at House of Blues.
Yeah, so it's Volume 8. This year it's our 8th one of House of Blues, and it is Roma themed. So we're thinking gladiators, toga themed party, and it is just an epic production of dancers and theatrical movement going on in House of Blues, and we throw a big house party there.
Yeah. And what's interesting about Red, if you haven't been to the Red Party, both Riptide and Red Party have a VIP option with the bar. I'm not necessarily desirous to go to the dance floor because it is just an overwhelming experience, but there's a big production show continues through the evening at Red. I just find myself when I go to the Red Party smiling all evening. I'm in that VIP watching the crowd, and it's like electricity and energy that is just washing over me in dancers, show production, the people that are having a great time. I can forget everything that we're watching and hearing in the world and just totally be in this moment.
I love Red Party, and when High Drive Productions, who's the production company that does all the dancers and supplies all that production value for that, they asked me when I met them, they're like, do you want to be involved in any of like the rehearsals and like looking at and seeing what's the pre-production? And I said, no. I want to be standing in the DJ booth and enjoy it for the first time, just like everyone else.
That's great.
I have looked at moving that venue because there are some restrictions, and that is my downside. And it is the size of the venue, and then you have to go through Disney security. So you have to be dressed appropriately when you get to Disney Springs. Yeah. You got to be in a shirt that's not see-through. You can't be in a jockstrap. You got to be appropriately clothed to get there, and you have to be there before 11 o'clock. Right. So you got to start that party a little early. Will things change in the future? who knows? But it is something that I have looked at.
Yeah. Well, as Scarlett O'Hara said, we'll worry about that tomorrow.
Yes.
This year, Red Party is going to be great.
It's going to be an amazing party.
Then you have, of course, the iconic pool parties. You know, pool parties have become a staple in LGBT. One of the things I always laugh about when I think about OMW is the pool parties. There's no different names for the pool parties. No. It's the pool party, but they're all the therapy pool parties. Now, I laugh. I don't know if that was foreboding to Pineapple Healthcare or not, and it wasn't. But therapy is aptly named for pool parties.
Yeah,
at OMW.
At OMW, because you kind of got to recover a little bit. Because if you're like me, like I'm recovering at the therapy that we're
part of that is called the Cadabra after hours parties. And really this is one, in Europe you see a lot of it, but you don't see a whole lot of it in the United States. Parties that are designed really to not get started until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and they're going to go literally all night.
Yeah.
It's very unique at
party where we kind of go all the way into the wee hours in the morning when the sun's coming up. Reminds me of my days at Club Space and Discoteca.
Oh yeah, right.
When I partied all the way into the very early morning hours.
Right, absolutely. And one other final big feature that I really like about OMW is Bear Jamboree. You've mentioned it. Across the street is the Crowne Plaza, a separate standalone property, really completely embracing the Bear communities. They have their own set of pool parties. They intertwine with OMW in terms of Riptide and Red, etc. It's very funny to me because over the last 2 or 3 years, when I go up, Faye Watt, very well known here in South Florida, she always wants to stay at the Crowne Plaza. And she's probably the only woman, I'm guessing, that's staying at the Crowne Plaza with her wife. And she just talks over and over and over about how great the Bears are to Faye and how much she loves going to the Bear Jamboree, which I laugh. Every time she says it, I just bust out laughing no matter how many times she tells me. I have walked through that hotel where I am chopped liver and Faye, it's just amazing. The jolly nature, literally, of the Bear community and Bear Jamboree at OMW.
Yeah, so Bear Jamboree is a separate party of that, but you can pick your own flavor. If you want to be at the Bear Pool Party during the day and then come to the after hours, you can. Those tickets are interchangeable. Or if you're at the OMW but you want to go to a bingo at the Bear Hotel, you are more than welcome to go back and forth between the 2 hotels.
Right, and I'd be remiss and would be canceled if I didn't mention Jonathan Cassanius, a good friend, an anchor here at Queer News Tonight. He comes up and performs, sings, entertains. God only knows whatever else he does, but he sings the praises of the Bear Jamboree. It's something that we have a huge bear community here in South Florida. It's something you for sure want to look at. I know you already know it, but it's just a reminder. I want to, for a second, talk about the politics that are going on in the world. The politics that we're watching in LGBTQ community in America is shocking. What do you hope OMW accomplishes being an entertainment platform with everything that we're watching going on?
So OMW being part of Pineapple Healthcare, it helps fuel our education, our advocacy, our outreach, and our services that we provide for low cost and no cost care to our patients. So we say that it's party with a purpose, that you're helping fund our advocacy and our outreach to reach people that are living with HIV or don't know about PrEP and getting these services to these people that are needed the most. And when we have people that are undocumented or their immigration status is in limbo, we don't care about that. We want you to be healthy, happy, and best taking care of yourself. So that's why OMW is so important, because you can have this wonderful party, but you're doing good while you're having fun on the dance floor.
Party with a purpose. I will remember that. And one other thing I'm curious about, 2025 looks like it's going to be amazing. Look into your crystal ball for a moment, Ethan. What will OMW look like next year in 2026? Will it return to first weekend, or have you made any decisions yet?
It will return to the first weekend, like historically we will be, and we're just elevating the experience for the guest. That is, OMW is a diamond in itself. We're just polishing that diamond a little bit more and making it shine even brighter. We're talking about wristbands, and I know if you've been to OMW before, you know every time you have to have a different color wristband for each different day. Mm-hmm. We're going to try to change that away and go with the EDC type style, mm-hmm. where it is a wearable. You kind of have one band for the whole weekend, and your pass is all
cruise ship.
Yep, your one pass is available for the whole weekend.
Right. Yeah, that's great. Well, one thing is very, very clear. 100,000 partygoers are going to converge at Disney and in Orlando, May 29th to June 2nd for one magical weekend. And I say that because the one thing that I don't like about us saying OMW, we've gotten into this slang of saying OMW. One thing I don't like about saying OMW is it takes away the word magical. And that's really what's at the heart of this event. As of this date in March, as we're broadcasting this on Queer News Tonight, the weekend is already approaching a complete sellout. You can get more information and ticket information at onemagicalweekend.com. And from my seat, OMW, One Magical Weekend, is so very special for our gay community, especially in the world we are living in today. We can certainly use some good news. Ethan Suarez, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Hotspots Happening Out's Queer News Tonight.
Thank you, Al, for having me.
That is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world.